everyone, it's Chris here from HauntingLIVE Podcast. How are ya? Well, sorry for coming to you a little bit late, but we were waiting actually just for getting actually into the location for tonight's episode. So if you guys want to be able to actually chit-chat a little bit later, I will be actually on chat. Trevor is going to be taking you throughout the property and the house. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch you guys around, sort of show you guys exactly right where we are. Hey there. All right. So the location that we are actually at tonight, just got to bear with me for a sec. All right. So right now, this location here, it is a haunted location here in Ontario. They've actually shot Anna Green Gables right here. Oops, there's our car. So they're right there. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to walk with you guys. Just saying though that the house was actually used in the TV show from YTV. For those that actually watch YTV here in Ontario or across Canada, the Lucas House. So right here, this is actually the Lucas House though that we are actually at. It does go back to the 1800 time period. Trevor's going to actually give you a little bit more information right when I do switch over to Trevor. Alrighty. So this place is very beautiful. We've done actually a lot of spiritual workshops here. And also Jackie Dennison from last week's episode has been here also with us. With also next week's guest, which is Steve Furlong. So yeah, Jackie and Steve have been here actually 2 years ago with us. And it's a beautiful location. So welcome everybody. Alright, so tonight what's going to go on though is we're going to take you guys throughout this historical house. This house was actually originally from Burlington, Ontario. It was down actually on the Appleby line and also the highway area. But it was actually picked up all as one and moved all in one tack. A lot of homes though, and actually in historical museums, are actually picked up and taken apart and then rebuilt actually at the location. But this house was moved all as one. Alright, so what's going to go on though is I'm going to pass this actually over to Trevor. So
hi everyone, welcome to HauntingLIVE Podcast, a very special edition. This is our very first HauntingLIVE Podcast that we've done post-isolation. It's our first time we've been able to get out and investigate. So the one place we came back to, of course, is here at the Lucas House. So welcome to the Lucas House, everybody. Come on in.
Alright, so let's just switch around right now.
Let's adjust first.
Alright, so Trevor's already adjusted.
Okay.
So, here we go. Yeah, if you want to bring it that way.
And hi everybody, Trevor here. Welcome to HauntingLIVE Podcast, live from the Lucas House in Milton, Ontario. So this is our very first post-isolation podcast we've been able to do. And we want to bring you guys back to a place that we know fairly well and know the spirits and energy here. So we were able to gain access to the Lucas House. This area was still in stage 1 lockdown as of this week, but I think just this past Friday they were into stage 2 as well now, so that's good. But they are still closed technically as a museum and a public place, so we have special access to be in here because it's just us two tonight only. So they said yes, and we're able to bring you Haunting Live on location tonight. So let me just turn around you guys here so you can see the room. This room here is obviously the main kitchen area. So now that goes out the back door, and this is the main kitchen room here. This house does go back to the 1835, 1840 era. And like Chris was saying, it was moved all in one shot from the Burlington area all the way up here to be placed in this museum here at Country Heritage Park. And it was owned by the Lucas family at the time. Now this room is part of the addition to the house. And this door right here, that's in front of me right here with you guys, it goes out into what we call the sewing room area. And that area is actually believed to be older than the rest of the house. So the main part of the house is added on to this area here. So this part can actually go back a long, long ways. We don't know how old this part goes back to at all. So we'll just walk in here. And that's what it looks like in here. So let's walk in a little bit. That's my shadow. And the reason they call it the sewing room is because they have a big loom in here. The looms they used to use in the old days for sewing, of course. So that's that right there. But it's just the original part of the house here. The rest of it was actually added on later on. And we'll walk through the entire house with you here tonight.
Alright, so the reason why though that they're actually having the flowers hanging, even some of the actually stuff that was grown in the garden, is because a long time ago that they actually believed, even today people do believe though, is if you do actually hang herbs, even some flowers, so it does keep away the negative energy. Actually in this area here, there hasn't been really any negative energy, but throughout the house there has been.
Yeah, there is some negative energy on the property itself that we have ran into, but that's mostly in the barn area, and we'll show you guys that outside as well afterwards.
Well, not only barn, but also what happened last time though that we did a workshop. Actually, Mr. Lucas's brother, he's the negative one, and he was actually in the house.
Yeah, he made his way into the house, and he ended up attacking energy-wise one of our guests, who was a medium, and he got a little bit taken over, so we had to quickly adjust our energy for him.
Yeah, and whenever Lucille actually comes in here, she can actually feel the energy quite strong.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm walking on stuff on the floor, so.
Yeah, Trevor's walking actually on some sweet grass.
Yeah, it looks like it's hay or sweetgrass, probably hay. I was stepping on that stuff there, so.
All right.
But yeah, this is the sewing room. Like we were saying, it is the original part of the home. This was built first. That was my shadow again, sorry. But it was built first, and the rest of the house, the main house, was added on to this part here. So we don't know how old this goes back to, but this part here goes back to at least the 1835, 1840 era.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is outside with Anna Green Gables, for those that watched the recent one that was actually just on TV, Anna Green Gables, the new version, this kitchen was actually shown in that series.
Yep, they used a lot of this house in YTV's Anna Green Gables show. You can see that on TV quite often. And this house in this area here was used for the filming. Alright, where to next? Do you want to head
Probably
down?
take them and actually show them the younger pictures of the homeowners.
Just step outside. You guys were already outside with Chris, but this is the porch, which is also famous for another reason. I'm not sure if Chris told you about that part.
No.
Did you?
Nope.
Well, this porch here, guys, if you recognize it, if you've seen it before from us, there's the ends. And so this whole porch here is a famous painting by a Canadian painter, Robert Bateman. And he actually painted this porch, and it became a very famous painting of his. You can look that up online as well. So I'm right now walking on that very porch. And there's the view from the porch, which you can see on a clear day all the way down to Toronto. Down that way. Alright, let's head back inside. So this is the main...
What they were called actually at the one time, which is the dining room.
Yeah, this would be the dining room where they probably eat meals and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. So Mr. and Mrs. Lucas is actually the original homeowners. Their pictures are actually on against the wall.
Yes, that's Mr. and Mrs. Lucas, younger versions of them. So there's actually a baby picture right there.
Not the baby that you guys are going to see shortly.
Yeah, and there's Mrs. Lucas. This younger version. And walk through. And there's Mr. Lucas. Alright. So this is the main dining room area, like we were saying. Of course, here's the old tea set and dining table set up ready for a meal. And there's a nice fireplace here in this room too. It's on the mantle. Back that way is the kitchen. And Chris.
Yeah, so just so you know, I'm actually looking at the live chat.
Alright, Chris is going to hop on to the other phone and join you guys in chat. So if you do have any questions while we're doing the tour first, feel free to ask in chat. Trevor is hosting Haunting Live Podcast with you guys tonight, live from the Lucas House in Milton, Ontario, at the Country Heritage Park. And we have actually gotten access to this location tonight, and we'll be doing an investigation here shortly after we do a walkthrough with you guys. This is the living room or den area. We usually call it the den. And there's a nice grandfather clock in the corner here. And there is a old-fashioned wheelchair. They do have a piano over here in the corner. Well, I guess they'd call it an organ back in those days. Beautiful old organ.
So who's watching right now is Chrissy Collins.
Okay.
All right, we got Shirley. We got Penny Wolf.
Oh, Penny. Hi, Penny.
All right. Chrissy Dawn. Hey, Chrissy. And Wanda just joined in.
All right. Yeah, so this is, like I was saying, the living room / den area. We usually call it the den. And this is where they would have came, sat, and did their stuff after dinner, what have you. Yeah. Main living room area. There's an old desk right here that has a mirror in it. So
now, for those that actually with the table, that's Trevor behind Trevor.
Yes.
Last time though that we were actually here, we actually had table tipping. We had the table actually at 45-degree angle. There's only 3 legs actually on the bottom. It's a very light table.
Yeah, I'll show you the bottom
Wanted
legs.
to hear Jackson actually was trying to do the circle the other way, but still, Trevor and I, we took our fingers actually off of the table, and the table was still actually at 45-degree angle.
So we used this table last time we were here for a table tipping experiment, and it worked amazingly well, because the energy in here knows us and trusts us, so we work with it quite well in here. And we did have the table up at quite a high angle, so. And we took our fingers off the table and it stayed by itself pretty much. That you can see on our video clips on our Facebook and social media. It's posted on our Facebook still.
Yeah. And right when we do actually the editing, it will be put in right here.
So this is one of the bedrooms. There's a view up the back. This is the back area. But on the bed is our lovely little doll. You guys can see the doll. So I think they called this bedroom the soldier's bedroom.
Yeah.
Because in the old days, soldiers would come through this region and would stay here overnight, I believe. So,
yeah. And plus, also, if the family members weren't doing well or whatsoever, they'd actually stay right in this room,
yeah.
Especially even if it was actually their time for passing actually on to the spiritual world.
Yeah, this would be the sick room where they would stay when they're not well. And the doll is actually supposed to be one of the child's dolls.
It's actually the skull, like the face that you see, is actually from one of the children that did not survive.
So the face, I'll zoom in on close up for you. You can see how natural or unnatural, as you want to say, that looks. That's because it was molded from a real face. So that's how they did them back then.
If you guys have any chats, like any questions right now about the doll or about what you guys just were actually in the next room, about the table tipping, feel free to actually ask us. Hopefully Wanda's still actually on. Wanda can actually sort of explain, while she's typing, about the table tipping experience.
Yeah, so let's move on. This is the soldier's room. It's just a bedroom on the main floor that they used for guests, and I guess today's terms we call it a guest room, but right.
Here's some pictures here, actually, Trevor, of the Lucas.
Yeah. Well, I don't think, let's see. No, you're blocking it more.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, yeah. There's a little album here on the table that has some old photos in it for you guys, so.
And I noticed one stone here. Chrissy, if you're actually on, do you see that purple stone?
Yeah, there's an odd amethyst or something in there. So. Alright. Let's head back up. Well, not back, but we'll continue on.
Explain last time when you guys came in.
So this is another entrance here off the back. And that's the barn actually out there, guys. So that's the barn that is also active. And there's more of a negative energy out there, which we believe to be the brother energy that stays over there in the barn. But he does cross back and forth and has been known to come into here as well.
So we'll sort of show you that. Well, Trevor reads something. Chrissy.
Okay. Alright.
So you want to explain exactly about the cupboards?
Yep, I want to get over here. So right here, there is a little entryway and a door at the back. And these cupboards right here that we're looking at right now, they always say these doors open by themselves. So we're pretty much sure why they open up, because of the floor is of course uneven, and that's why we think they pop open. And as you can see, the lock isn't the best, so it doesn't even lock properly, but they are known to be open when they should be at least closed like they are now, just shut, but not fully locked. And when we came in today with the head person, these both were open actually. So this door, the one on this side here, the right door was open, and also this little cubby door, which is a closet door here, was also open. And this one is never open. This little green one here for the cubby, it's never been open ever when we've been here.
That's right.
And she said that when she came tonight and saw both of these open, she's like, well, those both shouldn't be open. And we've never seen this open either. So we think there's already some activity been going on lately here, because that shouldn't be open. We've never seen it open.
Yeah. So there's no more messages except for what you read from actually Chrissy Dawn. That was it.
Well, we'll move on upstairs. Take you guys upstairs of the Lucas house now. Okay. So this is the upstairs area. And they also got a little sewing thing set up here with the sewing machine on the side. And some mannequins in the corner. We just have a little sewing machine set up here. Little stove. And also going back to the Anna Green Gables TV show, it was filmed also up here quite often. And this room here to my left that we're just going into, they used quite often as Anne's room. So this is Anne's room from the TV show. That's me.
Paris is such an amazing place.
Yes, it is. When we've had our live events here, and we have groups of people up here, in this room here, this bedroom, they always feel a sickly feel. So either sickly or they could feel something like that. And a lot of people say that when they come up in this room here. So it does kind of have a heavier feel to it in here. There's a stove also in this room. But, alright. So back out in the main area. And upstairs here it's dark, but there's no light.
Actually, the light's pretty good.
Okay. But in this area here, where it goes into the extension part here, we believe that used to be the sectioned off area. And there used to be a wall or something that would be right here. And this area was the addition part, we think. So this is just one of the other bedrooms upstairs. And that's my shadow again. So, this is one of the main bedrooms upstairs. So not much in this one. Just a simple room, dresser. And the one to the left is the same thing here. So
Right when you keep on going that dark area,
yeah.
right, there's like something really fuzzy in that area.
Yeah, it was going kind of fuzzy. The shadow on the wall's creepy.
Does anybody else notice that by any chance that's watching? So right when Trevor's actually in that dark area?
Yeah, it's kind of getting interference from something. If you're here affecting the equipment right now, can you make a noise or present yourself some other way? Or make it go worse? Can you make it go worse? Are you affecting the equipment right now? Because it didn't do that till we got upstairs, so. Okay. Well, it's really hot up here. I'm going back down. Because that's all there is up here, basically, guys, so. Alright. Whew. It is warm upstairs there. They definitely do not have AC in this house, that's for sure. So, back in the den. Go find Chris, I think he's outside. There's Chris.
So the house is very warm.
It
actually
is
inside.
quite warm, yes. So we're going to sit on the bench.
Yeah. So these benches, you hear a lot of sit actually on the furniture inside. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to be sitting actually on. It's actually one of the policies right when we first of all started coming here that we were actually asked and told about.
Yeah, technically all this area, this property here, is all museum property and farm property, so they classify it as a museum. So, of course, if we're allowed in here, that means we respect it as a museum.
Yeah. All right, so Trev, do you want us to explain some of the good news that we were given today?
Yeah, let me switch back around to me. Alright, so guys, thanks very much for tuning in tonight. We did receive some other good news just today that we were pretty surprised about. Very good news for us that we like to, I guess, formally announce. We received word from a place that we actually investigate quite often as well. You guys have been there with us in the past. It's the Queen's Inn Hotel in Stratford. And we just received word that we are now named the official paranormal team for that location. So we are the team that is called into that place from now on when they need people in there, or when they want to allow people in there. We're the team that gets called for that. So that's a great news for us. We're extremely happy about that.
Yeah. So. And you want to explain exactly what's coming up in November?
Yeah, November. We do still have things going on in November that we postponed because of COVID stuff. We are actually still going ahead with the workshop that is going to be there at the Queen's Inn in Stratford. November 6th and 7th, a 2-day event. You get a dinner Friday night, you get a workshop on Saturday, and you get a ghost hunt Saturday night with us. So if you're interested in that event, please check out our website at HauntingLIVEPodcast.com. And there's a bunch of new features on our website for you guys to check out. We just launched a brand new website, HauntingLIVEPodcast.com. Go check it out. There's social feeds on there for Facebook, Twitter, our YouTube channels on there. You can buy the public event tickets directly from our website now as well through Eventbrite. And also our main thing we want to keep trying to push right now is our mailing list. We do have a brand new mailing list that you guys can join, and people that join the mailing list will get first notice of things like special guests coming up on podcast. You'll get first notice of public events before we post anything else about that onto social media. So you guys get first crack at the events and guests coming up and stuff like that for Haunting Live. So we'll of course get some other things that we can do with the email list, but those are the things that we want to start with. So what are we going to be doing for the rest of the evening?
We'll be coming back a little bit later tonight, and we'll be coming back actually with one of your favorite tools. Unfortunately, we will not be able to do chat. Because it's all because actually those other phone though is actually for the live chat.
Yeah.
But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through with you guys. If you guys do actually hear anything as whatsoever, please let us know either way. That way we can get contact back with you guys directly.
Charlie wants to know if we can get into the barn tonight.
Unfortunately, no, not the barn, but let's do that right now. We'll do a quick walk around while we're outside and show you guys the barn area. So we can do that for you. At least we can walk around and show you the barn. Maybe we'll get to see the animals that are out too. They have some animals still here. It is a farm, so yes, I see some donkeys over here. Donkeys are outside, get some grass. See, there they are. Hi, donkeys. There's the donkeys. Oh, he's coming over. He came over to me earlier, but then he got about 2 feet from me and ran away, so. But looks like they're out grazing, getting some dinner. Hi, bud. How are ya? You want to say hi? Yeah. You want to say hi? Hi. How's it going? Yeah. You eating dinner? Yeah. Oh, you're scratching. Okay. Okay. So the barn's actually behind this one here. This is the small barn where they have the animals and stuff, but we'll walk around to the big barn too. And Chris is back out.
Yeah.
Here's what the Lucas house looks like from the other side by itself. That's our car. So here is the big barn. And it's quite big. There's different levels in it. There's an upstairs as well. So there's the barn. You guys can see in it. You guys can see or not. Not very well. Sort of see from that angle a little bit. Right there is still located the one cool thing on this property, and it's inside the barn. It's an old Hearst sleigh where they used to carry coffins and stuff in the old Hearst. So that's inside. They have a bunch of old tools and stuff inside. course, it's a barn. But we did our seance in there before, so we had some interesting activity.
Inside there.
Yes, just did.
Wonderful.
Tried to show it, but couldn't see it that well.
Yeah.
So, but that's the barn. As I said, we've done seances in there before, and we've had a lot of activity. We've had poltergeist type stuff happening. Knocked our camera over. I've had pieces of wood thrown at me before in there. So there's some kind of negative energy in there, and I just almost tripped on something.
You can see it this way.
Yes. Can we see it over here more?
Yeah. You got to bring the camera a little bit closer. Hope you guys can see it, even though we're actually in the shot.
Can't really see it.
No? Okay.
No, it's too much glare. But
all right.
we know what's in there, so.
Yeah. Especially with the people that have been with us, and also with Jackie and Steve, you'll remember actually what was actually in there. So.
Okay, guys, with that, we'll cut the tour part short for part 1 here, and then we'll go inside, set some stuff up, and maybe come back with a part 2 for you guys shortly, okay? So stick around, and we'll bring part 2 soon.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Well, anyways, yeah, we are back here for part 2 of our first investigation post-isolation podcast, Haunting Live Podcast, part 2, and we're going to try to just see what we can get the energy in here to do for us. But we are just going to run one of our tools that we usually do on the podcast from home. If you guys have been watching in the last several weeks, we've been trying to run the Portal app with you guys. And we brought that here tonight to try out because we have never tried that here before. So
Plus also the Ghost tool.
yeah. Plus we'll try the other app as well, which is the Ghost Tool app. So
We'll do that one first.
let me know if you guys can hear okay and if everything's okay on your end. Thank you for joining us here on Haunting Live Podcast. Hello, Leanne is in. So we have somebody tuning in already. Thank you very much for tuning in to Haunting Live Podcast. We are here at the Lucas house, for those that don't know. And just turn that down a little bit because it was getting a little loud. But we're going to try in this part to do a bit of investigating with you guys here tonight at the Lucas house. And we normally bring our paranormal tools and that and do an overnighter, but we're just here for a couple hours today. So we thought we'd bring in the apps that we try to use at home on the podcast, which are... Can hear and see. Okay, great. Good. Thank you for confirming. Sometimes we always have issues, but hopefully you guys are receiving okay. Thanks very much, guys.
Father was at first, and then Amanda.
Okay, so one of the tools that we are going to run first of all with you guys here is one app that we've used in the past that works really well. It's called the Ghost Hunters Tool app, I believe. And this one... It's sort of like an Ovilus-based tool where it actually will spit out the words with the energy that's using it. So the spirit can manipulate the word database that's inside and actually say words through this database and come out on the app for you. The only thing that you really have to watch with using these apps and stuff is the fact that you have to be aware of your situation and your surroundings. So it's really important for you to know, that's why the history research and stuff is so important when you do investigations, so you know what you're into, you know what your location is. So when you use the apps like these, or even the Ovilus tool itself and it's spitting out words, you get to know what those words represent and what they're trying to refer to. Like for instance, it could say a name of the owner of the home or whatever you're investigating. Or it could say other words that you know relate to the topics that deal with that location. Then you know it's kind of working with the energy of that location. But if it starts spinning out just random words, you know it's probably hitting some other kind of energy just coming through randomly. So, so we just started this up. This is what it looks like. See, you guys can see okay. So it has a bar up here where it shows the energy, how high the energy level is. These green bars will move up into a red area when it gets really strong, and then the word will start to appear down here. So As you can see, we had a name come through, and the name was Amanda. Hi Shirley, thanks for tuning in. Hope everything is well with you guys. If you're just tuning back in for part 2, we are at the Lucas house here, all set up for part 2 investigation with you guys. Thanks very much for watching Haunting Live podcast tonight. We just did a quick part 1 earlier, if you guys are just tuning in on this one, and we just did a quick walk around tour of the location for you guys. That can be seen on the video before this one on Facebook, so go back and watch that one later. But we're doing the investigation part here for part 2, so thanks very much for tuning in to Haunting Live podcast tonight from the Lucas house. We're using an app right now called the Ghost Hunters Tool app. Good to hear, Shirley. Everything's good. That's great. And something just came through. You hear that little whisper noise? That just came through. And it's backwards on the screen, but it says the name Charles. So we're getting a few names already. So we have Amanda and we have Charles just came through. But we're here tonight to try to actually communicate with the Lucas family. So they are the family that had this house in the past and from the 1800s. So this house originally was built in the 1835 to 1840 era and was originally located down in Burlington, Ontario, and it's moved up here all in one piece. And they put it here at Country Heritage Park as a museum piece. So the house still contains all the energy it had back when it was in Burlington. So the Lucas family energy all came with this house, and at one time there were up to 14 people actually living in this house at once. So can you picture that, a little small farmhouse and having 14 people in it at once? That must have been a little crazy and hectic, but that's what they did in the old days. So this was all brought here and it now resides here at Country Heritage Park, and we are allowed pretty much anytime access to here to investigate like we are tonight. So it's one of our favorite places to investigate, and I thought I just heard a knock behind me. Did you hear that?
No.
There's like a little thump back here to my left side. Okay. I heard you walking over there, but then there's something right there. So hopefully we'll start to get some energy. We're going to try to communicate with the Lucas family. So they're the ones that own this property and this home. Their names were Elizabeth Lucas and John Lucas.
That's the name that goes with the house.
Charles does?
Yeah.
From where?
Actually, it's one of the kids.
One of the children?
Yeah.
Okay. There were, how many children? 7 children?
It's hard to say. The reason why is because of actually the deaths.
Yeah.
Does it say actually on that?
I don't know. I do have a sheet here with some information on it that they have here, so let me just see if they happen to mention anything about that. No, nothing about the children, unfortunately. But I think we've been told in the past there were 7 children, 6 or 7, and there was twins or something, and there was 2 boys.
2 boys, definitely.
And
I know that.
they're the ones that caused some of the energy around here that we've run into. And in the past, one time when we were investigating, and here we are doing a sit-down seance in the den area, if you remember from the walkthrough we just did tonight. The den area, we were all sitting in a circle, and we heard footsteps actually coming down the stairs and up to us in the circle. So that was pretty interesting. We thought that was one of the children. So just from the way you can hear it walking. So
All right. So what name did we get again?
nothing yet. Still showing Charles from before. So is there any energy here that wants to communicate? Okay, we did get another word. It's backwards, of course, but it says horrible. So did something horrible happen? Is that what you're trying to tell us? Something horrible happened here?
Something horrible happened to Charles?
Or to Charles? Seems to have leveled off. The energy is not as strong as it was. Come back through. It's okay. You can talk to us and try to find out what happened. Did something happen to Charles here? Charles, do you want to tell us? Thank you guys very much for tuning in again. We are Haunting Live Podcast here. We are doing live session part 2. Earlier tonight we just did a quick walkthrough of part 1 just to show you around the area here. And we just got another word after asking that question, what happened to Charles? And we got this word.
Chest.
So chest came through. So possibly something with his chest or with his heart maybe. Maybe it was a natural heart attack.
Yeah, he actually had. I remember actually saying he was picking up it. He actually had Charles had something wrong with his chest area.
Another word?
Sound.
Sound. Are you hearing the sound that this tool is making? Is it okay that it's making the sound for you? It does make a sound when you talk into it. Okay. So yeah, there was Charles, then we got the word chest, then sound just now. So
Horrible.
And horrible as well. So horrible chest sound, so maybe you broke some ribs or something, had an accident. Did you hurt yourself? Did somebody hurt you? Charles, can you tell me what happened? So did something happen to you?
I know, so it's written, you don't look at it, it goes up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So anybody else tuning in, catching anything at all, or what?
We have Carrie's in. Hi, Carrie. Thanks for tuning in. Carrie Reed Davidson. Been a while since we've talked to her. And Christy Dawn's in. But I can't see everybody on chat, so...
Send your name and let us know exactly who's on.
Yeah, say hi, guys. Thanks very much for tuning in tonight. As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in and watching Haunting Live with us. This is our very first Haunting Live that we've been able to get out to a location and actually investigate since the lockdown isolation stuff started. So we're very excited to be here tonight and just to get out for a couple hours and come here and check out the Lucas House. So we're back at the Lucas House, Country Heritage Park in Milton, and we're at one of our usual spots that we go to. So we know the energy here quite well. Come on, is there any other spirits here that do want to communicate with us? We have a tool here that you can talk through, and if there's anything you want to say to us, Mrs. Lucas or John Lucas. Elizabeth? Yeah. Yep. Elizabeth or John. One coming, another name.
Kevin.
Name of Kevin. We have Leanne in. Hi, Leanne. Thanks for tuning in to Haunting Live Podcast. We appreciate you coming in tonight. For those of you that don't know this location we investigated quite a few times in the past. It's one of our main spots that we come to. It's called the Lucas House due to the family that owned this house when it was in its original location down in Burlington, Ontario. And this house was transferred all the way up here to Milton to be a part of Country Heritage Park. So
Really, just up the road.
Yeah, not too far. So they didn't have to move it too far, which is good. But now it sits as a museum, and you guys can come and tour this location yourself when it's open. So, but right now they are still closed to the public because of COVID stuff. But we have been granted access tonight. That is bright. Can you turn that the other way? It's reflecting too much this way. Okay, so we got a couple names tonight. We had Amanda, we had Charles, and we had just now Kevin.
We've also had Father come through.
And Father, yep. So we think Charles was trying to communicate tonight because he said a couple other words like horrible and chest. So we think something may have happened to him. Either he had a heart attack or something like that. So Charles, if you're still here, do you want to try to come through again? Are you one of the children of the Lucas family?
Charles, was your brother's name Kevin? If so, please let us know.
Are you and Kevin the children? Are you the children here? Are you the children? You were starting to come through. Come on back. Maybe if they are the children, they didn't have enough energy to come through fully.
Yeah. Things like this do actually happen, especially when you need to get in contact with the spiritual world. You don't provoke the spirits at all.
Shirley wants to ask if Charles was hurt, and if it was it in the barn? Charles, were you hurt in the barn? In your barn? Outside? Is that where you were hurt, Charles? Charles, were you hurt in the barn? It's okay, you can tell me. Were you hurt in the barn, Charles? So far, Shirley, I asked the question you were asking if he was hurt in the barn, and so far there's no energy coming through. It's gone quiet. Just hold on, something might be coming back now. Hearing. So just had the word hearing. Are you hearing us okay, Charles? Do you hear us talking to you? Do you hear us talking, Charles? Can we hear you talk? Do you have anything to say to us, Charles? Can you tell us how you died?
How old were you, buddy?
How old were you? How old are you? You want to tell us how old you are? No, it went quiet. I don't think he has a lot of energy. I think if he is a child, that would probably make sense because he is probably low on energy if it is a child spirit. It takes a lot of energy for any spirit to do anything, so if he was hurt and maybe he hasn't had that energy come back to him, he might not be able to do a lot for us or to come through.
Chris is getting up.
Okay, that's just Chris moving. So thanks guys for tuning in to Haunting Live Podcast. We're very excited to be here tonight with you on this beautiful Saturday evening. Hope your weekend is going well on Father's Day weekend. And happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, of course. And we thank you very much for taking your time out to come and sit with us for a while tonight. We are Haunting Live Podcast. Check out our brand new website if you haven't checked out our brand new website already. It's HauntingLivePodcast.com. And on our website, we have a whole bunch of new stuff. There's new features on there, such as social media feeds for Facebook, Twitter. We have our YouTube channel on there. We even have modified it so you guys can buy our public event tickets right online from our website when we do public events. And our next public event is coming up this November, so go check that out. Is Charles here by chance? Charles, are you here? Do you want to try to communicate with us tonight, buddy? Do you have less energy to talk to us with? Do you have energy with you? Hello, Deanna. Thank you very much for tuning in. How are you tonight? Just had another word. Oh, maybe another one to you after this. Hold on. Come on, buddy. It's okay. Tell me what you want to tell me. It's okay, buddy. Called. Alright. So you see how high it's going right now? And there it goes. It's kind of leveling off. Steam. So we just had 3 quick words in a row, and it doesn't usually do that. So we had huge. And I forget what the other one. Let me go back here. That was huge, called, and then steam. So I wonder if he was working on something like that required steam, like an engine or something, and maybe something happened. I wonder about that. Because that was a really strong energy. It doesn't usually go that high. Thank you very much, Charles, for telling us that and for coming through. And we really appreciate you talking to us tonight. Thank you, Charles. So Deanna's in.
Hey, Deanna.
Yes, hi, Deanna.
We're actually in your favorite room, the kitchen.
We're in the kitchen of the Lucas house, so we're going to be set up the investigation tonight. We don't want to go too far in different rooms because how hot it is here today. It is sweaty outside and it's hot upstairs.
That door and that door.
So we're sitting in the kitchen where we have both doors. There's one door here, there's one door right here beside us, so we have some flow through of air. Obviously there's no AC in this whole house, so we're just going to be here for a couple hours and that's it.
There's
So,
heat, that's basically it.
oh, we got an interesting word came through.
England!
The word England just came through.
Must be for Jackie and Steve.
That one must be for your friend Jackie and Steve across the pond.
Well, who's on next week from England?
Yeah, we do. That's probably trying to tell me to tell you guys about our special guest that's coming in. Hold on, I'm going out of focus here. There we go. We do have another podcast coming to you guys next week, next Saturday night, as usual, from our home studio. We'll be doing a
4 o'clock.
special time broadcast next week on Saturday at 4 o'clock due to the time difference. And our guest is going to also be from the UK, which we had a special guest last week from the UK. So this is our second one from across the sea. And his name is Steve Furlong. We've worked with him in the past. He also works across the sea there with our other guest. So he's going to come and join us next Saturday. So tune in for that. Special time at 4 o'clock.
Not only that, though, Steve was actually here 2 years ago.
Yeah, and they were both here at the Lucas house investigating with us. So they come over once in a while to do their workshops, and we had one with them here. So that was pretty cool. All right. Any other spirits? Mrs. Lucas, Elizabeth Lucas. I want to try to communicate with Miss Lucas. Are you here with us tonight, Mrs. Lucas? We haven't talked to you for so long. We just want to see how you're doing. If you're liking this now that there's no people walking through your house all the time. Do you enjoy the peace and quiet? Deanna goes, I see that. Jealous too. Well, tune in next week, Deanna, because we're going to have Steve on, and we'll talk to him about what he's been up to lately. So, we hope we do not have technical issues next week.
You shouldn't.
We shouldn't. We tweaked those out. We did a bunch of testing, and hopefully I've had that fixed up. So, is there any spirits here that want to communicate with us? Please come through. We are here for a short time to visit with the spirits here of the Lucas house tonight and want to try to communicate. We've already had Charles come through tonight, so thank you very much, Charles, for coming through and talking to us and telling us that you had some issue with your chest. I'm not sure if that's how you died or not, but you at least had an issue with that. And we think that you're one of the children. Also, possibly Kevin came through. That was one of the children here. if there's any other spirits, like Elizabeth or John, we'd like to talk to you too. Okay. We're gonna only go for a short more time here. We're just down here for a couple hours tonight just to bring you guys a very special Haunting Live podcast. We thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed it so far. If you missed a part 1, go back to watch part 1, which is our walking around tour of the property here and checking out what this place is like. The word ambulance came through.
You want to explain about the ambulance?
Well, the word ambulance just came through on it. That obviously would not be an old thing. That would be a new age thing.
You want to explain though what happened?
Map.
Yeah.
So right after ambulance, we have map.
They shot actually a paranormal show, and actually they shot it actually in this house, and there was an ambulance actually in the episode.
Oh right, yeah. We were watching one of these weird older type paranormal shows where they just come into places and do a quick storyline on something. And I guess they were allowed to use the Lucas house here, and they did some filming in here, and they used the upstairs bedroom and stuff like that. But when they were outside, they actually had an ambulance parked outside for some reason because I guess the old guy had some issues, and that's why. Next word that came up was section. So map, ambulance, and section. Those words don't really go together just yet, so we don't know what they're trying to tell us right now. Angela's on. She's asking, where is the Lucas house?
It's in Milton, Ontario, pretty much right beside the ski hill.
Yeah, if you know Ontario at all, there's the main highway called the 401, and it's right along the 401 about half an hour from Toronto.
Half an hour, it all depends about traffic.
Well, just
Generally,
distance-wise.
yeah.
Distance-wise, we're about half an hour from Toronto. We're right in between where we live and Toronto, so we're right in the middle, from Waterloo to Toronto, Kitchener. So Milton is located in that area, and there's a park there called Country Heritage Park, and that's where we're at here tonight. And there's an old house from the 1800s called the Lucas House, and that used to be down in Burlington, so that's where this whole area comes from.
And once
Great question, though. Thank you.
And once was an apple orchard.
Yeah, actually, this once was an apple orchard here on this property, and that spirit is said to be roaming around the grounds of this property as well. So there is an older spirit of a male that's supposed to be around here that used to look after the apple orchard that was on the park property here before the house and stuff were here. So, okay, so thank you very much. Okay. Angela thinks she's been here as a child a couple of times, so that's good.
Okay.
So you think you know where it is, yeah. They are closed here right now, just so you guys know. The park is still closed to the public, but we have been granted special access because we are the paranormal people for this area in the park. So we have had access to this location, not when they were fully closed, but now they're open in stage 1 and 2 and stuff. We asked if we could come back, and they granted us access, so... Shirley's asking, is this place by the pond off the 401?
Yes.
Yes, Shirley. Chris says it is by the pond.
The May Pond, yes.
Yeah. She's asking by the pond, so.
Yeah.
Deanna's asking, have we heard anything from the little boy? Nothing audible, but he's come through, we believe, on the app tonight for us. That's still running here beside me. We had the name Charles and also Kevin come through. We believe that those could be the names of some of the children. There were up to probably 7 or 8 children or so. And there were 14 people in this location at once. So there were a lot of children. So we think Charles was one of those children that were here that we made contact with tonight. But with that, guys, we are going to say good night. Thank you very much for tuning in to Haunting Live Podcast with us here. We hope you enjoyed our extra special location we were able to gain access to. And we will... Okay, we just had a funny one come through. The name of Chris just came through. So that's a good way to end it. So I'll hand that one back to Chris. And I think the spirit was trying to make a funny joke as we signed out. So, and we will see you guys later. Have a great weekend. Try to stay cool. We're going to head on and drive back home. So take care, guys, and happy hauntings. Thanks for tuning in.
Subscribe to OGPS Filming /HauntingLIVE. Check us out online across the internet, live at Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.